Good day everyone, this is Stephanie Onrica Basad from BSN 1 Henderson. Today, I'll be performing skeletal system. This is the greater tarantula of the femur. It is the most lateral point of the proximal femur and is typically lies 6 to 8 inches of the iliac crest. The greater tarantula of the femur is easier to locate in women than in men because of the wider pelvis. Then we have the patella. Patella is also known as the kneecap. The middle part of the patella is the tibial tuberosity. This is the medial malleolus. Then we have the lateral malleolus. It is the bulge of the lateral aspect of our ankle. As you can observe, our lateral malleolus is higher than our medial malleolus. I am now touching the calcaneus. As you can see, it is our heel bone. Let us now move on to the movements of the synovial joints. First is the flexion. It is a movement generally in the sagittal plane that decreases the angle of the joint and reduces the distance between the two bones. Flexion is typical of hinge joints, but it is also common at ball and socket joints. Next is extension, a movement that increases the angle of a joint and the distance between two bones. Extension is the opposite of flexion. If extension is greater than 180 degrees, it is termed hyperextension. Next is the abduction and adduction. In abduction, movement of the limb away from the midline or the median plane of the body. We also have adduction. It is the total opposite of abduction. It is the movement of a limb toward the midline of the body. Adduction, abduction. This is the rotation. It is the movement of a bone around its longitudinal axis. Rotation, a common movement of ball and socket joints, also describes the movement of the atlas around the autonoid process of the axis. Next is the circumduction. It is commonly observed in ball and socket joints like the shoulder. The proximal end of the limb remains stationary and the distal end moves in a circle. The limb as a whole outlines a cone. It is a combination of flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. Next is the pronation, a movement of the palm of the hand from anterior or upward facing position to a posterior or downward facing position. Then we have supination. It is a movement of the palm from a posterior position to an anterior position. Supination is the opposite of pronation. During supination, the radius and ulna are parallel. We also have plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. This is plantar flexion. It is a movement of ankle joint in which the foot is flexed downward. Then we have dorsiflexion. It is a movement of the ankle joint in a dorsal direction. Lastly, the inversion and everversion. In inversion, it is the movement that results in the medial turning of the sole of the foot. Inversion or inward. Then we have eversion. It is a movement that results in the lateral turning of the sole of the foot, the opposite of inversion. That would be all for this presentation. Thank you so much for watching!